This is a review of Aristotle's diagram of rhetoric. In broad terms, rhetoric means writing or speaking effectively. The philosopher developed a model or diagram for effective, persuasive rhetoric. This diagram should help you as you work on any writing that requires you to either persuade your audience or argue your point of view. For your position paper in this class, you will be tasked with arguing your point of view. Aristotle's diagram of rhetoric consists of three interrelated elements: ethos, pathos, and logos, all which occur within a larger context. When writing or speaking, the author must keep the larger context in mind at all times, because it actually governs the remaining elements of the diagram. Context helps determine how the author or the writer presents his or her argument. In Aristotle's diagram, ethos represents the author or the speaker, which in this case is you. To build ethos, the individual should use credible academic sources when writing for an academic context. Present the argument in an unbiased manner by writing in third person. In other words, you do not want to use words like I, my, me, our, we, you, your, or yours. Pathos represents the audience in the diagram. One way to remember this is because pathos reminds us of the word sympathetic. As the writer or speaker, you want to gain the audience's sympathy by having an effect on the audience. You can do this through the language you choose and by incorporating emotional and motivational appeals. The third component of Aristotle's diagram is logos. Logos represents the message or the content. This aspect includes the reasons you have for supporting your position, which are your thesis and topic sentences. These elements are your own opinionated ideas. Logos also encompasses the logical appeals that you make to your audience, using evidence from your research and academic resources. Logos also involves your overall organization. So you want to ask yourself, have you organized and presented the information in a logical manner? All of the elements, ethos, pathos, and logos, and context must work together for a successful piece of writing or speaking. When you reach the editing and proofreading stages in the writing process, you want to check to ensure that each of these elements is present and in balance. If you are missing one element, the writing fails based on the rhetorical elements. For example, if the writer offends his or her audience, then pathos is not present. Because pathos is an essential rhetorical element and must be included for a successful paper, the paper fails without it. Each of the components in the diagram is crucial to having an effective piece of writing. Take your time at each stage in the writing process just to ensure that you consider and create each of these components in the diagram of rhetoric. Now that we've explored Aristotle's rhetorical elements, let's examine the key elements for an academic paper. In the MAED program at Baker University, you need to follow the APA formatting and style guidelines. The Hackers and Summers text has some sample papers that you will want to reference for how to properly format your title page, text pages, and reference pages when writing an academic paper. Beyond this, you want to have a creative title and introductory paragraph. In an academic paper, the introductory paragraph should grab the reader's attention and provide background information and context for your topic. You should also include your thesis statement in the introduction. An academic paper includes body paragraphs that each have a topic sentence. The topic sentence directs the paragraph and includes specific examples, evidence, and research from your sources. The topic sentence should support your thesis. Finally, in an academic paper, you will have a conclusion that does not include any new information. It might be helpful to think of the introduction as a funnel that works down to the thesis statement. You start with a broad, interest-grabbing statement and then move into a few sentences that provide background information or some type of scenario related to your topic. Then you want to use a narrowing transition sentence to move slightly closer to your topic until you finally reach your specific opinionated thesis. While there is no specific formula for writing any aspect of the paper, each paragraph should feel in balance with the others. If you're out of practice writing for academic purposes or not feeling confident in your skills at this time, you might consider trying the number of sentences suggested here for the introduction. Regardless of your skill level, you need to keep your audience's attention throughout the paper because this builds your ethos and establishes the length of the paper. You can think of the body paragraphs as clusters of similar information that support the thesis. Each body paragraph should have its own topic sentence to guide it. The topic sentence should be your own opinionated idea that logically follows from the thesis. In your body paragraphs, you want to support your thesis by using evidence from your research or academic sources. These sources must be properly cited using APA documentation. This is another place, again, where the Hackers and Summers text is going to be extremely useful. A few words that relate to APA documentation include signal phrases and the attributive tag. This is where you name the source in the context and provide the publication year. Parenthetical citation is vital information regarding the source that is enclosed in parentheses immediately following the cited material. Finally, the references are a list of all the sources you cited in your paper. It includes the complete publication information for the source, and it's always listed in alphabetical order. Please use your Hackers and Summers text for specific details and information on how and when to use parenthetical citations and signal phrases. Finally, your conclusion allows you to have the final say on your topic. It should be as equally balanced as the other paragraphs in your paper. Use keywords and phrases from your main points to ensure coherency, and tie back to your thesis and remind the reader of your paper's focus.